So I officially hit my 3-year mark in this field of data science the other day. That's 3 years of experience, and I thought this may be a good time to share some honest truths about the field. It's not only just good to share all the good things, the cool things, but maybe I wouldn't say the uncool things, but some of the real things as well. So it's mainly 3 points that I want to share on today, and I think point number 2 might be quite interesting for you, so maybe skip to that or stick around for it. Hi, my name's Kevin, and if you're new here, I'm a civil engineer turned data scientist in the fintech space, and today I just want to share basically the honest journey of the last 3 years I've had in this field. Just a quick, more or less a summary on it. There's obviously much more to this, but just maybe the highlights for today, both the good and the bad, right? And maybe it's best if I start right at the beginning, when I first got my first junior role as a junior data scientist. And this was back in February of 2022. And I was fortunate enough to join the company that I actually did about an 8-month bootcamp through. And that was very fortunate for me, I guess. But joined the company. Super cool people, super cool place to work with, and just a super cool culture. I just enjoyed every moment of it. What a time. Maybe a bit of a fun fact about the company that I studied through, but they are now, I believe, Africa's largest data science training center. So they've come a very long way, and they give quite a good program to this day. So maybe just sharing more about back then. It was such a cool experience because the bootcamp was fully remote, and once I joined as a junior, then we still worked remotely, but then there came a day where we all met up in the office, and that excitement, that energy of just meeting your fellow colleagues for the first time after a year or so was pretty amazing. So why am I sharing all this? What I just described is what I would like to call the honeymoon phase of a career. Once you've joined, the excitement is in the air. Everybody's excited to meet everybody else. And obviously, just like a normal marriage, like in this case, we're talking about a career, a honeymoon phase eventually wears off, and that is just something to be aware of. I think, and don't get me wrong, I still thoroughly enjoy my job, but that honeymoon phase does eventually wear off, speaking to other people as well. And so you just find yourself trying to sort of chase that high again, that high of the honeymoon. And I haven't been able to do that in the last 3 years. Maybe it'll come again, who knows? But so far, nothing. Another thing you start to notice as you grow in your experiences. So now data science should be rooted in machine learning at heart, I believe, and that's a big portion of what I studied in my bootcamp. But it seems, even speaking to a number of people, it seems that a lot of roles, at least in South Africa, the role is advertised as a data scientist, but you actually end up doing a lot of data analytics work. So tons of SQL, a lot of Power BI, and Python is there as well, but not as much as SQL. And even a lot of roles that are advertised, from what I've seen, majority of them actually SQL is a must, and a lot of them say, Python is a benefit. Python would be a nice to have, but SQL seems to be that cornerstone. And this is not a good or bad thing. This is just something to be aware of, especially if you're very new in your career. But also, I only have 3 years. So if you have more years of experience in the field and you disagree with me, then let me know in the comments. Let's talk it out. Which then brings me to my next point. And with what I'm about to say, don't get me wrong. I enjoy the work I do. But as I described in the beginning, that honeymoon phase wears off, and I just feel, with me being the person that I am, once that excitement wears off, then it starts to feel more and more like a job and not necessarily a career or even a dream. The key word here is dream. I think back then when I just started in this field of data science, going through the boot camp, then having those sleepless nights, not because you're worried, but because of excitement. You're just staying up, you're thinking about this thing, you're excited about the future. And that for me eventually just wore off. And now I found myself trying to chase that high again. And a big part of the reason of me starting this YouTube journey is to feel that excitement of, when I'm trying to fall asleep and I'm just thinking, planning, ideas popping in my head. And I'm back there again with this thing I can call my own, my own baby, this YouTube channel. And I just appreciate that where, my 9 to 5 is my 9 to 5. I enjoy working at my job that I just love. And I think this whole thing closely relates to the Japanese concept of your ikigai. Maybe just Google that if you don't know what that is. But I think this combination of my career, the data science, and me on this content creation journey just completes that circle for me. Okay, with that being said, and before I started getting emotional, the idea for this video wasn't to make you feel disappointed about this field of, data, but just to also share some real truths. And in case I made you feel a bit of disappointment, maybe as an apology, here's 3 reasons why you might love data science.